What's up guys, this is Serge, and welcome back to my series of music theory lessons. Last video I discussed what notes and pitch are, and today I'm going to talk about the 7 elements of music. This series of videos will start very basic in the beginning, but later will get more advanced. Music is a beautiful art form that can take you back to a certain period of time. It can give you a roller coaster full of emotions, and it can make you do crazy things like jump in a mosh pit. What are the building blocks of music? Here are 7 elements.
Alright, let's get started. Here I have 7 elements: melody, harmony, rhythm, dynamics, form, timbre, and texture. Let's start with melody. A melody is a series of notes that are played in succession, or you can say are played one after another. Think of this as the horizontal element of music. A melody is the part of the song that you can sing along with. It grabs your attention. Here is a recognizable melody you may know. Here's what a super dope melody looks like on sheet music. I'll make another video lesson on how to read sheet music later. This is just to give you an idea of why I call it the horizontal element. But melody is just one element, and we need some more stuff to make this a more interesting piece of music. Next, we have harmony. Harmony is a combination of 2 or more notes being played simultaneously. They are occurring at the same time, in other words. I like to think of this element as the vertical element. An example of harmony is what you may know as a chord. A chord is a combination of notes being played at the same time. Here is an example of a chord on a guitar. Here is an example of a chord on a piano. Think of harmony as the support for the melody. Here's an example. Next, we have rhythm. According to Oxford Languages, rhythm is the systematic arrangement of musical sounds, principally according to duration and periodic stress. So think of rhythm as the time element of music. Music is an art form unlike others because you have an element of time. There are a few key factors that make up rhythm: beat, meter, and tempo. I will break these down in a later video. But to make a quick point, you may find yourself tapping your feet, snapping your fingers, or bobbing your head to music often. This regular pulse that you are tapping your feet to is called the beat, but I will go further into this later. The next element we have is called dynamics. Dynamics show how loud or soft the music is. When you're reading sheet music, the word for loud is forte, and the word for soft is piano. When the music starts soft but gradually gets louder, we call this a crescendo, which sounds like this. When the music starts out loud but gradually gets softer, we call this a decrescendo. This sounds like this. The next element we have is called form. Form simply means how you arrange the music. For example, in European classical music, you could have something called ternary form, which is also called ABA form, where the A section would have a certain melody, the B section would be a different melody, and it would go back to the A section with the first melody. Here's an example of that. Well, that's cool, bro, but I don't listen to that stuff. No worries. The most modern example of this is how we break down songs. I'm sure you've heard the words chorus, verse, bridge, intro, outro. These are examples of how we arrange music today. Here's an example. next element is called timbre, which is not pronounced timbre. If you remember from my last video, I played the note A on the piano, and then I played it on guitar. You could tell that I played the exact same note on both instruments, but they still didn't sound exactly the same, right? These instruments have a different timbre, or tone color, that makes them sound different from one another. I won't go into what causes differences in timbre for the sake of this video. Our last element is called texture. Texture is the layering of sounds and instruments. When I play a guitar chord, there's a small degree of texture that is happening from the combination of notes I'm playing. But if I play a chord on the guitar and play a chord on the piano at the same time, I have more texture. Think of texture as making something sound either full or thin. Another example is when you're recording guitars in your software and you double track it. This creates for a fuller guitar sound. We have different terms for textures. One type is called monophony. When music is monophonic, it only has one layer, which is the melody. An example of this is me playing the melody from Country Roads by John Denver. Another example would be one person singing a cappella. Another term is homophony. When music is homophonic, there you have a melody and a harmony supporting it. Here's an example of that. This is used in most music today, with the vocalist singing the melody and the band plays the supporting harmony/chords. You also have what's called polyphony, which is multiple melodies happening at the same time. Here's an example of polyphony I just came up with. This concludes our lesson for today. Next lesson I will discuss the names of the 12 notes in music and how we use them to create music. If you like what you saw, subscribe. If not,